Hi, welcome everybody to SadCAST. This is the Science Fiction SadCAST podcast show. It's in video and it's in sound. We're going to last about 20 minutes. We have 4 people here in the studio, which is my front room. My lovely wife Kate, who is an animation. We've got Mike, who's also an animation. And we've got Sam, he's very keen on grunting.
Yeah, grunting. Big grunting fan.
Representing the Southern Hemisphere, we have Rory, who's known as Lex Robotech on the internet. He's very keen on 70s and 80s science fiction, books and games and so on. We have Ryan, who's actually a nuclear rocket scientist. He writes sci-fi reviews, he watches Battlestar Galactica, and he likes Dune and Reboot and so on. And we also have, last but not least, the Frey, Michelle, who likes reading books and so on, and has a special talent of beating vendors into submission. So, this is the team. We're going to last about 20 minutes or so. It's a bit crazy here because we've got 2 video cameras. One of them's floating, and everybody will be sort of picking up the floating cam and shooting each other while we're talking. It's just a bit crazy. Okay. The way we're going to start off is we're basically going to talk to you about news and views about science fiction that's current around the world. And we're going to do some basic, simple reviews on shows such as Doctor Who, which is coming up a bit later. This is our first one. It's really amateurish, so we're all sweating here and making a mess, but hopefully it'll be all right. First thing I want to talk about, though, is the news. What's the latest on the news? Anybody got any news? I'm getting wind. There's wind coming across. There's wind coming across it. I'd really like to get started.
That's all the listeners gone. All the listeners have gone. That's the tumbleweed.
Doctor Who's out for a start. You know. Yeah, okay.
Hey!
I assume this is.
Right.
Well, Doctor Who. I've really strongly opinionated beyond this with only 2 words, really. The world could choose 2 words individually. Every single person on the planet could choose 2 words for Doctor Who. For me, it's Peter Davidson.
Okay, well, so what are the views? I mean, out of 10, what would you say? 1, 2, 3, 4,
It used
5,
to scare
6,
me as a
7, 8,
kid,
or 9,
but now
14.
as a man,
Just pick a number.
I'd say
Mike.
about 4.
What was your number?
Okay.
What about you?
I really am not qualified because for a person.
Wow, I've never known 3 people not be able to pick a number between 1 and 10.
I will give it 10 because it gives my little nephew so much pleasure.
Rose, Novocaine, everyone, excuse me, Your Grace, get me the intravenous solutions for every single disease. Move it! How's that? Will that do?
I don't know. Will it do for what? It's unplugged!
Over the water there, have you seen the show yet?
Yeah, Sci-Fi Channel's starting to show it over here, and I think we're about halfway through the first season now. I'd give it about like a 5.5.
What sort of show would be a 5? And one gnat's above average? Yeah, maybe someone wore a nice shirt, so it was slightly better than a 5.
I think the half for me would include the show after the programme. You know, whatever was on TV after that.
Yeah.
It was the programme after that made it look good.
There was some nice adverts in the middle.
Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah, and that's basically what it's all about. I have to say that the first show was pretty rubbishy compared with the second and the third show. So, you know, there are some good parts about the show, but it could do with it. It's a bit corny and a bit naff, to be honest with you. We'll see how it develops. Hopefully it'll be as good as the first season. Okay, we've got some news now. We'll go to Ryan in the US. Ryan.
Yes. Well, the big news now is that Sci-Fi Channel has announced that they're going to be creating their own Battlestar Galactica spin-off called Caprica. Just in the last few days, they started showing to some of the sponsors. And Caprica, which I think this is sort of a copy off of the Butlerian Jihad from the Dune series is it's a prequel where they're talking about how all the machines, or rather the Cylons, were created and eventually how they rebelled. And of course they have to get a famous family, in this case the Adamas, involved in that. So it's by the same people who do the current Battlestar Galactica, but right now I'm not too excited about the plot line. And also I have some news about Hunters of Dune, also known as Dune 7, which is the novel which most Dune fans have been waiting for about 20 years or so. The release date for Hunters of Dune here in the U.S. will be August 27th, 2006, so pretty short time from now. And for those of you in the UK, it's being released on September 11th, shortly thereafter. The list price here in the U.S. is $27.95, but of course Amazon has a deal on that for a very large discount at $17.61. Additionally, if you go to the official Dune website, dunenovels.com, you'll find that you can find the first 2 chapters of Hunters of Dune there available for downloading and reading.
Excellent.
I love it the way Americans say Dune. Dune. Yeah.
Okay, any other news? I mean, what's everybody watching at the cinema at the Oh yeah, Final Fantasy. Okay, what's Final Fantasy like?
Well, it just came out on DVD. It's great. It looks really good. Everybody says good things about English dub.
Now it's been dubbed into English. I haven't got a fucking clue what it's all about. Right? I thought I knew what it was about before. Now I've watched it again.
It's pretty arcane, isn't it?
It could be about potholing.
It could be
about anything. I just like looking at pretty things fighting.
You're all just watching Final Fantasy, is that right?
Well, DVD. It's a Martin Scorsese version of Frankenstein. It's worth seeing because it seems to be a made-for-TV thing, almost like The Crow, Stairway to Heaven. But Frankenstein is one of perhaps obviously the greatest, horror stories of all time, even science fiction stories of all time. This version seems to bring it into the modern age, where the Doctor has been able to allow himself to live for so many, many, many years, and apparently the book itself that Mary Shelley wrote was a rip-off of this guy's real life. It's got a couple of good names in it, but it's surprisingly an awful ending.
Right.
Not to put you off, I would recommend seeing it.
Okay, good. What about Rory down in South Africa? What's happening down there, sci-fi wise?
Yeah, well, there's not much new on the scene. We kind of get things, 2-3 months later. I mean, the big talk around here is the X-Men 3 movie that's coming out soon. Unfortunately, we're a little bit behind in the times here.
Michelle, what's happening down in Texas? Have you seen anything good lately?
Nothing. Nothing happens in Texas ever. Okay, it's Texas. Come on, give me a break here. Actually, everybody around here is just starting to gear up for the convention season.
Right.
Especially in Texas, the weather starts getting nice and people start working on their conventions. But the thing that I was most struck about is, in fact, it was in one of the UK papers, the fact that some business people, and this may help us out in the end with the sci-fi stuff, is they have finally discovered that sci-fi geeks will part with bucks.
Right.
Now, amazing thing here. So if you have a successful sci-fi show, a book, a TV, a series, something like that, you can spin it off and make big bucks.
Awesome.
So they're going to be starting to try to funnel some more money there. The only problem with that is so often it goes to the Sci-Fi Channel or some entity like that where you get crap.
Yeah.
But, hopefully something good will come of this because, the sci-fi fans are, they're harshly labeled. They call them geeks or Trekkies or
they also
whatever.
Have the biggest disposable incomes of all the other
Well,
genres.
yeah, we have that. And because we haven't wasted it on muscle cars and motorcycles and stuff like that. And it's starting, money talks. And it's starting to attract a lot of attention because there aren't a lot of big blocks of people because people are fragmenting in their interests more often. And the sci-fi people are staying just, fairly consistent.